Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Liz with Ghastly Cards. I'm so happy you're here today. If you found me, I have just defeated this awesome Mighty Blastoise 7-star Tera Raid this week. I know there's only a couple of days left, but I did want to put out another little tutorial for some of the beginners out there. If you caught my last video on how to catch Mighty Venusaur, I'm explaining things really simply here. I've actually learned a lot from some of these other creators on YouTube. If you're looking for a very technical explanation on how to do all of this with the stats and abilities, definitely check out some of the Pokemon creators that I listed in my last video. This time I wanted to highlight a different creator that has taught me a lot through this process, and that is Osiris. His YouTube channel is amazing. If you know a lot about this space and you want some of a technical deep dive into how to defeat these 7-star Tera Raids, definitely check him out. I'm gonna highlight one of the options that he posted about this week as well, and then show you how, just like we did with Mighty Venusaur, I kind of found my way through it as a beginner. And if I can do it, I know you guys can too. So let's get into it. We've got no time to waste. Okay, so I have been keeping an eye on some of these YouTube creators this week ahead of my own attempt in this 7-star Tera Raid. And Osiris's strategies seemed really straightforward to me. Go check out, I think he has like 3 or 4 videos at this point on different Tera Raid builds that you can utilize to get Mighty Blastoise. The one that I am going to be referencing today is actually the best and fastest Pokemon to solo 7-star Blastoise, Tera Raid, and Scarlet and Violet. I will say right now, I don't do solo Tera Raids, but I think that even if you did go about building this out for the solo Tera Raid, you can still utilize it if you're gonna play online. So I typically do a group Tera Raid. I like to play online with friends. If you are running out of time, we've only got a few days left of Mighty Blastoise, and you wanna just make sure that you can catch the Pokemon before it's too late, I would definitely recommend trying some of the group raids, recruit online players to come in and help you out. And you'll find that actually a lot of the strategies that people like Osiris, Pokemon Cast, Blaine's, all of the big guys, they are actually, like, you can see the Pokemon being used in the Tera Raid group. So obviously a lot of people follow them. A lot of people are trying these strategies out. I'm gonna walk you through what happened when I tried it, because if you're not new to this channel, then you know things happen, especially when you're a beginner and you're learning as you go. I don't read a whole lot deep into different stats and abilities. We're kind of just winging it here. So let me walk you through kind of what happened when I tried to use Gallade, which is one of the main solo options that Osiris talks about in his videos. Keep in mind that Blastoise is now a Steel Tera type Pokemon in the 7-star Tera Raid. So what you're gonna wanna do, regardless if you use Gallade or any of the Pokemon that you'll see that I'm featuring after, you really wanna hit him with either a Fire, Ground, or Fighting Tera type. That's pretty straightforward. I think even a beginner level can understand what the different Tera types are. I'll show you where to find it in your Pokemon summary stats. It's really easy, but just make sure that you're targeting Fire, Ground, or Fighting Tera types. That's a major key here in going up against a Steel Tera type Pokemon. So where we begin today is with Ralts. He is the youngest evolution in the line of Gallade. My Ralts is currently only a level 6. So that's all right. Just head on over to your items and start to power him up a bit. You can use experience candies, you can use PP up, you can use different items in your bag to just get him to evolve into Kirlia. Now, here's where the caveat comes in. If your Ralts is a female Pokemon, then you're gonna see as you continue to power up, your Kirlia is actually going to evolve into a Gardevoir. Now, obviously Gardevoir is the female version of Gallade, and it's not aligned with what Osiris's strategy is, so Don't let this happen to you. Pay attention to the gender of your Pokemon. If you do have a male Ralts, you can find what's called a Dawnstone over in Area 2. It's up on this dirt mound here. You can see it's a peculiar stone that can make any certain species evolve, and that would be our Gallade. So I tried to do this with the Kirlia that I had just caught, not paying attention to the gender of this Pokemon. I scrolled down here to my Dawnstone, and as you can see, if you try to use Dawnstone on the female Kirlia, you're not gonna make it. You're not able to use this on Kirlia. It won't have any effect on a female Kirlia. If it was a male Kirlia, that's when you could get a Gallade. So at this point, I didn't show it, but I'm already like 2.5 hours of playing Pokemon Violet, looking for another Ralts, looking for a male Ralts, catching that Kirlia, trying to use the Dawnstone, realizing it won't work on a female Pokemon to get Gallade. So don't make the same mistake I did. I had kind of burned myself out already playing this long, looking for Ralts. And I think that really speaks to the beginner level that we're at here on this channel. While I definitely think that the Gallade route will work for so many of you if you try to build it as Osiris's strategy, it didn't work for me here, and that's completely me. Again, I think it's just a reflection of, different knowledge levels in Pokemon Violet, and that's why we're here, honestly. So if you're a beginner and you're running into some of these little roadblocks with these great strategies that the creators have, sometimes I think I'm gonna stand by this. Just trust your intuition and maybe try some of the higher level Pokemon that you already have in your party, because you never know what you're gonna find. With the original strategy of Gallade out the window, I decided to look around in my boxes, and I actually realized I had a level 100 Skeledirge, who is a Fire Terror type Pokemon. So I checked his summary to make sure that his stats would at least semi-measure up to what Osiris was recommending in terms of numbers. So you can see the special attack, the attack, the HP, defense, those are all pretty high. I would say that anything above 200 in this little hexagon here is going to be enough. We have Flamethrower and Fire Blast. Those are gonna be really helpful in the Tera Raid. I didn't need to do too much by way of leveling up Skeledirge. We're already at level 100. We've got good stats here. With that settled, the only thing left to do was add this Leftovers here. And Leftovers is an item to be held by a Pokemon. It basically gives you a little bit of HP back every time you inflict damage throughout your battle. So your greatest offense here is actually a good defense. And what I've learned throughout the Mighty Venusaur raid and now Blastoise is arming your Pokemon ahead of time with good defense items that are going to give back some of that HP that you're losing throughout the battle with each of their attacks, is going to keep you from fainting a lot. You'll be able to get to your Tera Orb a bit faster, and ultimately just be a helpful, successful player in any group Tera Raid. So once I gave Skeledirge the Leftovers to hold, I pretty much was done after that. For some of my other builds that I'll go through later, I ended up adding a lot of different experience candies, items, like helpful defense boosters. But with Skeledirge, this is like my main Pokemon that I've used throughout Pokemon Violet, so he was pretty much ready to go. Interestingly enough, every one of Osiris's options for his strategies this week are in this first Tera Raid. Poliwrath, Gallade, and then Vaporeon were in my Tera group for this first one, which was actually kind of cool because it shows how many people are watching Osiris and using his ideas. So shout out to you, Osiris, for being a great creator and having some great ideas here. So the Tera Raid with Blastoise starts off pretty predictably now that we know a bit about this Tera Raid from some of these creators, right? Right out of the gate, he's going to use Withdrawal, and that's going to immediately boost his defense stats. And you're gonna see that he actually does a lot for his defense throughout this first half of the Tera Raid. He immediately puts up that wall that makes it a lot harder to damage him unless you Terrastalize. So I just started to build up that Tera Orb. One thing I wish I had done for Skeledirge before I went into this Tera Raid was swapped out one of his attack moves for a defense move something that would maybe skew Blastoise's accuracy or something along those lines. But for this situation, Skeledirge was pretty strong, and those leftovers really helped me out. So little by little, throughout all of the turns, I was getting a little bit of HP back. I also think that one of these other Pokemon in my Tera Raid had something on that would give us all HP back. So like I said, like, your best offense is a good defense here. So if you have some of these moves that are going to give you HP back, you can see I just barely missed fainting because of, one of Blastoise's Hydro Pumps. But having the leftovers in play to give me back that HP really helped out. So I did faint somewhat early on in this Tera Raid. I'm no stranger to that. Unfortunately, it did cost us a couple of seconds in the Tera Group Raid, but it was the only time in the raid that I actually did faint, and I think it is due to some of those helpful items that the rest of us have in this Tera Group Raid. So from here, it was just rapid firing Flamethrower until I built up my Tera Orb strength. Using Fire Blast. Fire Blast actually has only 5 moves as a part of your stack there, so be a little bit careful about how often you're using Fire Blast. You don't want to drain it before you even get to your Terastallize, but you can see I got to that pretty quickly because I was able to get those other Flamethrower attacks in. It definitely helped out, and then once I was Terastallized, it all became a lot easier after that. So we'll go through another few rounds of Blastoise using Hydro Pump. Skeledirge is able to take that attack a lot easier once Terastallized. Everything raises, and then of course we still have leftovers helping us out a little bit along the way. That really helped break him through that wall, the barrier that he had up. And you can see others are actually using some of the strategy from Osiris, like the Weather Ball here. It's funny, I really think all 3 of these Pokemon trainers used his strategy because I'm seeing all of the attacks that he was recommending, which is pretty cool. So even with Rain Dance, which I believe raises the accuracy and effect of water attacks, Skeledirge was able to last through that. I got a few more Fire Blasts in, and we were able to make it all the way through the Tera Raid. The good thing about using Flamethrower is it does oftentimes burn your opponent. So just having that extra layer of attack on Blastoise with the burn, I think really helped in this situation. Again, he's a Steel Tera type, so anything fire related is going to definitely be effective there. So if you can land a burn on him, it's going to chip away, not significantly, but helpful enough to continue to chip away at his health points long enough for you to get those heavier Fire Blasts in, and then before you know it, you've got your Blastoise defeated. So from this first Tera Raid that I defeated Blastoise, he actually did drop Bitter Herba Mystica. I think every time you battle Blastoise, he's going to drop Herba Mystica, which is really helpful. Another thing that I picked up this time around is resetting your system of your Nintendo Switch in order to respawn the Tera Raid for Blastoise. This isn't something that I was doing before, but if you go into the system settings of your Nintendo Switch, go down to the date and time, and then actually set the clock back by 1 day. You can always change this back in the future to be more accurate of what time it is. I don't think it has any long-lasting effects in your other games. I highly recommend doing this, especially if you want to farm some Herba Mystica. As I get more comfortable in the game, I realize that's really the best way to do it. Okay, now I realize not everybody has started with Fuecoco and ended up with a Skeledirge, so that option might not be realistic for you. The unexpected hero of this week's tutorial is actually none other than Crocodile. Now, I actually stumbled upon this solution for Crocodile during my last live stream on Friday nights in Paldea, so let's take a look.
And also, I'm seeing a couple of new joiners. What's up, guys? I'm Liz with Ghastly Cards, and here's a disclaimer. This may or may not be the right way to do this Blastoise Tera Raid. I've already defeated it. I do have Blastoise. Caught him last night. Good luck to all of you if that's what you're here looking to do. At this point, I'm just trying out a couple of different options. I originally wanted to try Osiris's strategy with Gallade, but we've had some hiccups in that area, wouldn't you say? So, alright, so I'm going to go into the bag immediately just to set this up. And we're level 100, just like that. Okay, so now that he's level 100, I'm gonna work on some of those stats that I looked at. The way you can do that, there's a number of different options. These feathers, I've noticed, have helped a lot. So I think our attack was in a good spot, but you know, defense I think could use some work, right? So if we go to resist feather, I wouldn't say that these are like super strong, but I mean, if anything's gonna try to boost the defense stat for me, why not try it? I'm just gonna give them most of them. These items honestly have been building up because, I mean, you guys know that like you find items on the ground all the time, so I don't really worry about it if I just use them all. Chances are we'll find them again. So, speed stat, special attack stat, that would be a good thing. Let's give him some calcium for strong bones, maybe. I won't do all 18, but maybe like half of that. So let's power up with some calcium. Special defense stat, I also noticed, remember that one was a little bit low, so let's give him like 10 of these. The really, really good Pokemon Violet streamers are probably like, what is she doing? This is called winging it. Get it? Because there's feathers. That's bad. I'm sorry. But let's do some Mochi Cakes. We're just kind of giving a little bit of everything. Got to carb up before the big day, right? Okay, so HP stat, defense stat, that would be a good one to do. Special attack stat. I just think special attack's going to be helpful. So give him 5 of those. Here we go. Okay, so this is the area that I was focusing the most on yesterday. This like cool area here with like all these like random items like apples and like Shell Bell was down here, leftovers was down here. All of these little items I've learned throughout this like whole Tera Raid exploration can really, really come in handy, especially the ones that restore health points, right? So if we look through here, some of them are evolutionary, right? But so we go down. So King's Rock is an item to be held by your Pokemon. It may cause the target to flinch whenever the holder successfully inflicts damage on them with an attack. That can be helpful because flinch basically cancels out their attack on you. And the whole point of this is to try not to faint a bunch of times, right? Like to try to stay in the battle as long as you can, long enough to terrastalize, right? Like that's really important. So the more often you can hinder Blastoise's attacks on you, the better your chances of not fainting are going to be. As a beginner, right? Like as a, you know, now wait a minute. It's a loose, silky sand that boosts the power of the holder's ground type moves. I'm gonna give it to him, and then we'll check to see how many ground moves he has. Oh yeah. Look at those ground moves. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Okay, quick disclaimer. I have no idea if this is gonna work, you guys. I'm just here trying different things. So, if anybody joins and has any thoughts or feelings about this crocodile, let me know. Koraidon is such a cool Pokemon. I might just get Scarlet so I can have a Koraidon. Alright. Immediate withdraw. I should have, I guess, talked about some of the stats, but he immediately just starts to build defense. That's the main difference between Venusaur and Blastoise that I've noticed. Blastoise was coming out, or Venusaur was coming out of the gate swinging. I'm going to start with a Sand Tomb, because remember, Sand Tomb has the effect that lasts, yep, trapped by quicksand. That's going to last 4 or 5 moves. It's going to help us. I'm going to just go ahead right away, use Earthquake. Really not doing much, but he is already terrestrialized. That was really not that bad. I'm going to go ahead and do another Sand Tomb, Super Tomb, Sand Tomb, Super Tomb, whatever it is. It's going to fire back with another Hydro Pump. Honestly, that could have been a lot worse. This is off to a really good start. Yep, another Earthquake seemed to help. I'm gonna go ahead, Terrestrialize now. This feels risky because I don't have any HP restoring moves like some of these other people do. But hopefully the Sandstorm is gonna help us avoid a couple of those attacks. Oh yeah. There's that Earthquake. His attacks are barely touching us. That's pretty sweet. We're already through his defense wall. Alright. So his speed, yep, he's working on sort of his defense here. I'm gonna just hit him with another Earthquake. Alright, so we have 3 terrestrialized Pokemon in the battle right now against Blastoise. I think we're in a really good spot. This might actually be the fastest that I've defeated Blastoise with a group. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's do another Earthquake. Oh, alright. I'll take it, honestly. We have so much time on that clock right now. That's alright. We got a lot of, like, good hits in before I fainted, so gotta wait about 5 minutes. Or 5 minutes. Could you imagine waiting 5 minutes? Alright, we've got Crocodile back in. Intimidate is gonna kick in right away. I guess that's the only benefit. I'm gonna do another Sand Tomb. Just make sure that accuracy stays in check. Ooh, alright, so he's been doing his attack. Like the moves that raise his attacks, and I can tell. He may even KO me. Yeah, bummer. Okay. Hopefully these guys can kind of carry through some attack moves. We still got this, I think. Oh yeah. So I think this is a good lesson. Oh! Somebody just attacked hard. And that's it. That's how it goes. This is a proud smile of someone who just lasted through a Blastoise Tera Raid. because this is not the usual, honestly. Thank you very much, Blastoise. And we got that sour Herba Mystica. Bunch of experience candies here. Oh, I'm so pumped. I think I figured this thing out, man.
So that about wraps it up for my solutions to this 7-star Tera Raid for Mighty Blastoise. I hope it was helpful for you. I definitely learned a lot, specifically in this one for Blastoise. Every time I have to do something like a 6 or 7-star Tera Raid, I'm learning just a little bit more about what makes a successful Tera Raid in terms of build and Pokemon selection, and of course the defense and items that go along with it. So if you like beginner tutorials like this or a beginner's perspective, definitely hit that subscribe button, leave me a like on this video, and I'll just keep making them. We have Charizard up next. That should be another puzzle for us to put together, and I can't wait to do it and share it here with you. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.